Hello, I am Chris. Welcome to my basement gym yet again. Another stretch and relax class. Today we are going to use a chair. We'll use it for sitting, stretching, and also using it for standing, helping with rotations and balance. So just a different way to come into stretches and also working on some thoracic mobility. So it's going to be a wonderful tool today. Don't think of it as something that you have to use because you can't get to the floor. It is definitely something that can help anyone get into some stretching and just approaching things from a different point of view. So let's have a stand right in front of that chair. Let it be handy to grab when we're ready. I am going to wear my shoes today. It's a little bit chilly in my basement gym, so I'm going to leave those guys on, but feel free to please kick your shoes off, wiggle those toes, stretch them out, spread them apart. But let's allow our feet to be underneath our hips in a comfortable distance, okay? As we start with calming breaths, getting ourselves centered, so that way we may be able to let go and relax, kind of the key part of class. We're going to stretch ourselves out, and we're going to try to relax and unwind. So standing feet comfortable distance apart. All right, let's find that center balance. We know about swaying, just a gentle forward, back, side to side to find that kind of natural plumb line we have. So finding our center. Let's lift up our arches. Rotating those thigh bones through. Taking our tailbone and gently tucking it, pointing it straight to the ground. That leaves our abdominal region a bit active. We could feel our hip bones become a little bit more open instead of tipped forward. Everything becomes a bit more open, a bit more active. Our sternum gently lifts up to our nose, taking our shoulders and they're rolling back and down as we lift that sternum to our nose. Our ribs are still tucked in though. Gently holding that kindergarten pencil between our shoulder blades compared to making the back as wide as possible. I'm going to bring those shoulder blades together. Shoulders are out of our ears, and our ears are over our shoulders compared to, again, a wide back and the weight of our head coming forward. So again, sternum lifts. Shoulders roll back and tuck downward, bringing our ears over our shoulders. It may seem strange, it may feel odd, and that's just because this very stable position is not something that we practice rarely. We're always doing a lot in front. We're driving our cars, we're eating, we're reading, we're on the computer working or surfing or whatever, so we do this. So our back gets overly stretched and weak, and our chest gets overly tight. So we're going to counter some of that, and that's my goal with the version of Stretch and Relax I present to you. So I hope it's an enjoyable version that takes away the stress from our upper body, our neck, and our hips, and also helps just to kind of quiet our brains. So let that be the goal by the end of class. Maybe we can sit with our sternums a little taller. Maybe we've learned to calm our breath and calm our minds. And we take that with us throughout the week, okay? Hands by our sides. Let's focus on our breathing as we inhale fully through the nose and exhale through our nose. Letting the heat of our breath build within our core. Feeling our belly raise and fall with each exhalation. Try to focus our breathing to start within our belly and expand outwards equally as well as down and up, just like a balloon. Let's take a moment, quiet that brain. Count your breath. Box breathing or square breathing can really help with concentration and taking away any external distractions or even those thoughts that want to trail in. Just breathe. to-do list strays in, or thoughts about work stress, life stress, it's okay. It happens. Focus on it. Pretend it's a piece of paper. Pick it up and put it aside. Visualize that and visualize letting it go. Let it just go off into the wind. Hopefully we've got our calming breath and our centering going. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Inhaling, sweep up, gather up all that great energy. Bring it up, and then pulling the arms down into a W. And then extend up and sweeping out. Again, big inhale. Open the chest, drawing downwards, elbows towards our hips, squeezing those shoulder blades together, and lift up and float down. Again, lift, pull to a W, extending and floating down. 2 more times. Lift, inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Again, lift, inhale and exhale. Inhale. Excuse me. Let's do one more, just one more. Just because that feels good. It helps quiet my mind, so I'm hoping it helps quiet yours. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Lift up, draw through. Good, let's do that again. Lift up, draw energy in. 2 more. Lift up, energy in. 1 more. Good. Let's take our feet generously apart. Toes turned out as we come into sunflower squats. Remembering that when we do our sunflower squats, lead with pressing the hips back. Try not to lead with pushing the knees forward or allowing the knees to collapse inward. Press the knees out towards the pinky toes, okay? Rotate those thigh bones open. Bring the inside seam of our shorts up to the ceiling as we squat down, okay? Let's do 4 more. Don't need to go super deep. You can stay shallow right here, or you can come all the way down. 2 and 1. Staying tall, 5-pointed star. Spreading the fingertips apart and floating down. Let's toe heel in until we feel comfortable. And again, standing with our feet comfortable distance in a nice comfy spot right underneath our hips. Everyone is different. How our hip bones interact with our thigh bones means that some people feel better together. Some people feel better further apart. There's no right or wrong. Just find what feels natural to you. And let's grow our right foot through the ground as we lift our left knee up and open to the side and lift and back to the front. Let's do 3 more. Lift up and open. Try to keep the hips facing front as much as possible. 2 more. So we're just lifting up and over that imaginary box. And then shifting our weight into our left, growing our left foot through the floor as we do the same. Lift our right leg up and over. Trying to avoid opening up those hips a whole bunch. Keep the hips forward. They will open it a little bit. That's fine. There's 2. 1 more time. Lift up and back center. Good. Let's lift our toes. Now coming up onto the ball of each foot. And lifting our toes. And coming up onto the ball of each foot. 1 more time. Raise our toes up. Push through the floor and lift up the heels. Good. We have our chair handy. We are going to use that now. So let's bring it forward. What I'd like for us to do is turn the chair. Doesn't matter which way at first. All right. That's why we can have the back as a little bit of a support in case we need it. Okay. So starting with our legs, I'm going to move this back a little bit so I don't crowd camera view. Let's come in front of our chair. Our backrest is where our hand can meet it. Maybe you prefer it here on the left side. We'll do our left leg first. So let's bring our left foot on top of the chair, knee pointing to the ground. Just being passive is just resting there. We're not doing anything proactive right now. Hand is on the chair, giving us just a little bit of balance and support. If you don't need it, you can be right here. Now, let's take a little activation, pressing the foot into the seat of the chair. We can feel a little blossom of tension here. Yeah, just a little bit. Now, can we slide that knee a little bit further underneath our hip? Maybe you need to be like me and just scoot my foot out a little bit. Give myself a little room. There we go. Now, I'm doing a little tailbone tuck under, bringing my knee under my hip a little bit more, then having the knee in front of my hip. That blossom of tension in the front of our thigh. And now gently push the foot into the top of the chair one more time for 3 seconds. 2, 1, relax. Now, can we do a little bit deeper pelvic tilt? Can we scoot that knee a little further past our hip? We feel a little bit more blossom of a stretch. And our low back is long. Keep the low back long. Don't let the low back become tense or dig into it, because sometimes we do a stretch and that low back does one of these things. Okay? So that's why I say tuck the tailbone under. That keeps our low back long. Drift that knee a little further back behind our hip. And now push the foot into the chair for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Good. Feeling the blossom of the stretch within our quadricep, okay? Wonderful. One more time. Can we push the foot into the bench for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Using the chair for balance. Let's turn. That same leg we used. Can we grab the instep of the foot and give a little bit pelvic tilt, pushing the foot into the hand. This is a little bit more intense. Stepping up the intensity each time. Now, if you want, using your chair, coming into dancer's pose, pressing the foot out. The chair is helping me with my balance, so I don't feel like I'm going to fall on my face. If you need a little bit more assistance, step further back. I know my foot is out of frame back here, but you can see I stepped back, so that way I have room to get into my dancer's pose a little bit easier. Coming out. Let's have a seat. Give that leg a good rub. You just worked it. My favorite thing to do is take 2 knuckles right up here and just slide down, and you can feel the muscles kind of sort of meet each other. Just let your knuckles just guide down here. Go down the outside. Be nice to your knee. Circle your knee and come down. Circle the knee and come down. Just gentle rub. If you feel any pain or discomfort, stop. Give that quadricep just a little bit of love. So we do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to turn my chair. So that way I have my leg or my hand here for balance. foot on the chair. Very passive. The knee is in front of my hip. And now I'm ready to bring a little active tension into this. Let's tuck our tailbone under. We can feel that blossom just starting. Now gently pressing the foot into the chair for 3 seconds. 2, 1, relax. Good. I need to scoot up just a smidgen. Give myself that room to take my knee behind my hip now. Nice strong pelvic tilt, sneaking my foot a little further onto the chair, bringing my knee more underneath my hip. And then again, another press for 3 seconds. For 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. One more time, okay? Tuck that tailbone under nice and firm, low back is long. Feel that lovely blossom here. And now pressing the foot into the bench for 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Good. Let's take the foot off the chair. I'll move this inward a little bit so I'm still within my camera frame. Using that chair for balance, let's see if we can't extend this quadricep stretch. Pressing the foot into the hand, drawing the knee behind my hip. And if you like, pressing it to dancer's pose. The chair is here for balance. You can always scoot back a little bit. That's going to give you a little bit more leverage. Soften the supporting knee. And again, don't worry if this is too much. It's just a little bit of a hip hinge, and I'm pushing my foot into my hand. And release it. Let's have a seat. And then again, give yourself a little love, a little self-massage on that thigh muscle. Again, I like to take my 2 knuckles and I just find where that muscle sort of meets. It's my IT band, it's the iliotibial band. It starts up here attached to 2 muscles that are glutes and our hip flexor, and comes down and attaches right below our knee. And it's just a very fibrous tendon, ligament-ish thing. It doesn't really have a home or a name. That's why it's just called a band. It's just sort of connective tissue, but it can get tight. And the tightness generally comes from our hips or our glutes. But I like it, massaging it just a little bit and getting that muscle right next to us. That's our rectus femoris, our quadricep muscle. And then again, if you want, don't kind of manipulate your kneecap. I just like to go around it and down. And again, if anything feels uncomfortable, don't do, okay? I'm not a massage therapist. I just know what feels good for me. And I love a good foam rollering. I love just a good squeeze. Give ourselves a little bit of love. These hips can take a lot of punishment from us from sitting all day. So giving them a wonderful stretch can be a great benefit. Let's come back up. We're going to use our chair again. I'm going to turn it this way and approach it from the side. I have support. I'm going to place the leg closest to the backrest of my chair up on the seat. Flex foot, soft knee, hinging at our hips, reaching our sternum towards the big toe, feeling that wonderful stretch along the back side of our leg. Try not to put all of our body weight into this. Don't think that, okay, I don't need this for balance, so let the hands free. I would love for us to keep our hands here. Put some of the weight of our body into supporting ourselves on the backrest of the chair. So we're not putting so much of a load on the back side of our leg. That is to come as an option. Starting here, let's roll the heel side to side. Letting the breath go to the tension within the back of our leg. Good. Let's point our toe and flex. One more. Point and flex. Now, pressing the heel into the seat of our chair again for 3 seconds. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Don't press it in. Let it just be soft. Now, hinging. Again, the hinge is here, not up at our spine. So try to avoid this. It is a hinge down here. So sometimes putting your knife edge of your hand into that hip joint can help you push the hips back, guiding that fold. Again, I'm not putting all my body weight into my fold. I'm supporting myself. And then again, let's press our heel into the chair for 3, 2, 1. Relax totally. Good. And one more time, rolling the heel side to side. We will repeat this one more time. Good. Quieting our leg. Can we find that hinge? Fold just a little deeper. And then pressing our heel into the bench for 3, 2, 1. Relax. Let the breath go to the tension in the back side of her leg. Maybe you folded it much deeper. Maybe your fold is a little bit more shallow than mine. No right, no wrong, just different. Please always remember that. Good. Let's help our leg up. Putting our foot fully on the bench as we just come into a lunge. And if we like, we can wiggle that toe back. Now again, hand can be here and also come down here onto the chair. I want us to open up that knee. Let that knee fall towards the backrest of our chair. Tailbone tucks under. Good. Come up. Hamstring. Come forward into our lunge. Let the knee fall towards the backrest. Up, flex our foot, and back to our lunge. Drop the hip, push the hip through. Give the glute a squeeze, and then back up and through. Good. Come out of the lunge just a little bit, and I want us to point towards me. Now, without moving the arm, pushing against the side of the chair, spiral the chest open towards me. Good. Now sweeping forward, bringing the rotation forward, up, and push through the heel on the floor, open up the chest to the ceiling. Driving this hip forward, feeling a wonderful stretch in the front of the hip. Good. And bringing the arm down. And both hands grabbing the back of our chair. And just a gentle draw to the back of the room. Release. And pressing our leg through. As we change sides, we'll do the same thing. Again, starting with our hamstrings. Let's take the leg closest to the backrest. Hand here. Foot is flexed. Knee is soft. Very passive at this point. Good. And remember where our hinge is. Our hinge isn't up here. Our hinge is way down here. So find that hinge point. Foot is flexed, knee is soft. Just reach the sternum towards the big toe. Just until we feel that blossom of tension. We don't want to crank into a stretch. And again, I'm not resting my hand here. My body weight is on the backrest. So that way I'm not fully loading into the leg. I'm protecting the knee. Good. Let's roll the heel side to side, just like we did on the other side. You can feel that tension changing. Several muscles on the back of our legs, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, our bicep femoris. Good. Pausing here, we're going to do that 3-second press with our heel. Again, for 3, push the heel down. 2, gentle push. And 1, relax. Good. Can we hinge a little bit more? Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, so we did our hinge. Let's do our heel press for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Can we roll that heel? Ah. And one more time. And then pressing for 3, 2, 1. Relax. Roll that heel side to side. Relaxing into the stretch, feeling that blossom on the back of our legs. Good. Let's help our leg up as we come into a lunge. And again, I think I'm going to scoot back just a little bit. As I sink into my lunge, hands still in the back of the chair. This knee can fall towards the backrest as I bring my hand onto the seat. Pushing this hip through. Try not to make it about rounding over. I want this to be a whole body lean. Pushing our foot through the floor. And now sitting back into our hamstring. And then come forward into the lunge. Again, driving with our hip. And come back. And into the lunge. Allowing that knee to fall towards the backrest. If you want, scoot that foot in a little bit, give yourself a little room. And lunge. Feeling that blossom of a stretch right in the hip. Good. Come out of the lunge just a little bit, and again, point to me. And now the arm doesn't move whatsoever. We're not cranking with our arm. It's all about our torso. Open up towards me. Use the back of the chair, helping you. Hips, stay grounded. Try to keep that belly forward. Good. And come back up. We're going to sweep up, push the hip through. Big crescent. Breathe. Feeling a wonderful blossom right in the front of our hip. And coming down. And both hands on the back of our chair as we draw ourselves towards the back of the room. Back center. Lift ourselves up out of that chair. And having a seat. We're almost done with our hips for the day. Let's have a seat on the front edge of our chair. Bring your right foot up onto the knee of our left. Foot is flexed. I'm sure some of you aren't as tight as I am, where everything's kind of pointed at a little diagonal. Maybe you can get a flat table response. Absolutely wonderful. Excuse me. If you're more like me, this is pretty much what it is, and that's okay. Everyone's flexibility within their hips is different, and we all have different goals. To help those with needing to get a little bit more flexibility, I'm going to rest my hand here and support my leg. Actually, I'm going to support my ankle so I don't go scooting off. And just a gentle press, sitting up nice and tall. If you are unlike me, and that is perfectly level with the floor, maybe add a hinge. Again, don't round at the waist. That's a spinal folding. Hinge at the hip joint. Reaching the sternum towards me, gently pressing the knee down. Should feel wonderful blossom within our hips. Maybe the fold is just not enough for you and you need more. Here's another option. Cradle the elbow into, or the knee into the elbow, and cradle the foot into the crook of your other elbow. Sit tall and rock. Embracing where we are is important. Accepting who we are, what place we are owning right now. It's okay. That's what makes us great. Breathe into the tension. Good. Let that leg come across. Now, whether that's down here, because maybe that feels a bit more comfortable, or up high, I would love us to give that knee a little hug. Hand on the side of our chair as we gently draw ourselves into a rotation. Coming back front, we're going to take this across and do the other side. Again, ankle on top of the knee. Hand may rest on the knee. See, this one's a little bit easier for me. And again, if this is your starting point, beautiful. If your starting point is your leg is perfectly level, you have the ability to let that knee just be open. Come forward to a hinge. Breathe into the tension. If the sensation isn't quite there where you feel that blossom, again, cradle. Cradle, you can interlace the fingers. Again, I can't. You can see I look real awkward. But if you can get that knee in the crook of your elbow, foot in the crook of your arm, cradle. Maybe sitting up tall is what gets you the beautiful sensation, that blossoming stretch within your hip. Again, no right, no wrong, just different. Breathing into the tension. Foot is flexed, protecting our knee. This helps keep that kneecap in a good tracked position. Good, let's come out of whatever we were holding. Feel free to cross here or take it low. So we come into a seated twist. Good. Let's come back to the front, coming up, and using the chair one more time. That'll be another one of our features today. Actually, I'm going to turn my chair. I'm going to use that backrest. Good. For balance, we're just going to come up onto the ball of each foot. Try to be on the ball of the foot, not rolling out to the pinky toes. It's a big difference. You can see as I come up, if I let myself roll out into my pinky toes, I put a break and a lot of stress on that pinky joint and a lot of stress on the outside of my ankle joint. Coming up onto the ball of each foot, my ankle joint is stable. I'm not pushing out, causing undue stress. Just come up onto the ball of each foot and lower, slowly. Pull the toes up. Roll through the feet, up onto the ball of each foot, and slowly lower down. And sit back, lift your toes. One last time. Good. Using our chair. Let's just scoot back a little bit, hinging at our hip joint, not rounding at our waist. I want us to hinge down here. Sit back, thumbs to the ceiling. Allow the chest to sink through the shoulders, okay? So it's like doing overhead and opening the chest through, but gravity is helping us. So allow the shoulders to squeeze that kindergarten pencil between your shoulder blades. Allow the chest to sink through. Lengthening through the arms, but I'm not extending out. Those arms are still retracted. I'm still screwing those arm bone down. Pulling my shoulder blades down into my back pockets. Soften the knees. Relax the belly. Relax the chest. Feel the opening, the stretching within the chest. Step in just a little bit and take the arm closest to me, high in your thigh. Just focus on the one side, giving ourselves a little bit of support. Belly is in to support, and now rotate towards me. Good. Come up a little bit, just give ourselves a little bit of support as we switch sides. Soft knees. And again, sink that chest through. And then open the chest towards the back of the room. My thumb is up. And come back square. Again, soft knees for now. Extend both arms. I'm going to step back just a smidgen for myself. And now pushing my hips back, straightening my legs, sinking my chest through. This is something I do a lot, like kitchen counter would be a great place. Breathe. Allowing the chest to open. Shoulders are getting closer together. Stepping in, soft knees, hands on our thigh, and coming up. Let's lace those fingertips behind us, opening through the chest. Good. Let's relax. Let's put our chair off to the side. Coming down onto our mats. Supporting ourselves as we uncurl one vertebrae at a time down. Stepping our feet comfortable close. About a 90-degree bend in the knee. Let's relax our belly muscles. Do a little pelvic tilt. And now, gently push the feet into the ground. Push a little harder, just allowing the tailbone to clear from the floor and the gluteals to start to clear from the floor. Breathe, relaxing into the low back. As we slowly press a little bit harder. The harder we press, the higher the hips have to come. It's not that we're lifting the lips as high or lifting our hips as high as we can. We're just pushing firmly into the floor. And since our feet can't go through the floor, our hips have to raise. Breathe. From here, keep that bridge. Keep all 4 feet pushing through the floor. Give yourself a strong pelvic tilt. Squeezing the glutes. And now taking thumbs towards the floor, extending arms behind. Can we push our feet a little firmer? And arms come back to the floor as we slowly come back down. Let's bring the soles of our feet together, allowing the knees to butterfly open, pelvic tilt, so our low back doesn't curve away from the floor. Hands may be on our thighs, just that added weight to help with the stretch of our inner thighs. Let's bring our feet back up. Just grabbing one leg, having the sole of the foot point to the ceiling, grabbing our ankle, support behind the knee, allowing the other leg to butterfly open as we gently draw this knee towards our armpit. And half spider. If this feels good, you can come to the instep of your shoe or your foot. Now extend the other leg out. Let's bring the leg in. As we unleash that leg to the floor, we do the same thing for the other side. Let's draw the leg in. Bring the sole of the foot to the ceiling. We can support behind the knee. We can bring support to the ankle. Or if it feels good, to the instep of our shoe or foot. Allow the opposite knee to fall open. Breathing within the tension. And then extending our leg out. Just bring the leg in, releasing, turning the toes inward to one another, allowing the knees to drift towards each other. Hands come to a distance by our sides. So we just come to a final relaxation. Big breath, big belly breathing. So we finish off our day here. Hopefully you discovered something different you enjoyed, a different challenge, another way to approach releasing any tension. Let's lengthen out our legs. Point those toes nice and low. Arms overhead. Make sure I don't knock my drink over as I stretch, reaching in opposite directions. Big stretch. And then a hug. You can hug above or behind your knees. Bring the forehead towards it. And release. We are done. Feel free to rock and roll up or roll onto your side. Hopefully that was an enjoyable stretch. Got to quiet your brain, put aside some stress. Maybe it was the cherry on the end of your day. Maybe it's the way you want to start your day and just get on the right path. So hopefully it was enjoyable, and I shall be here again for you next week. Thank you.